Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and for all those in the military, I would like to say thank you for your service. I am a civilian. I will make sure I'm respectful of all of the leaders that are in the room. I heard Christie's talk a bit ago, and she talked about the fact that most civilians don't understand the rankings and the hierarchy. Um, I do know a little bit, but so I'm going to just ask your forgiveness on that. But I definitely am respectful for the all of the service and the things that you have done to keep us safe. Um, it's not an easy feat. I'm part of the federal government and just over a year, and I'm learning. I'm learning quite well. That is definitely a different space. So I know there are different age ranges. There are some people who are new, who are just starting out. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. Last summer, about 2 summers ago, I was on vacation with my family, and my daughter, who was 12 at the time, got a invite to an entrepreneurship um, event. And so they were looking for kids who were doing business and they wanted to promote them. It was in DC. And a friend of mine said, I think really you should have your daughter do this. I said to her, we don't have a business. She's never really mentioned that she wanted to do anything like this. We had a conversation about it. It just so happened in January, we bought her, they were doing this Get Ready With Me all over TikTok and the different places. And we bought her some skincare that burned her as soon as we put it on. And that's after I spent an hour in the store trying to make sure I got safe products for her skin. So when I talked to her, she came up with the idea about, hey, maybe I can make some products that are safe for kids. And so I said, okay. I had just, I would say maybe about 6 months, I'm into AI, I'm getting all excited. And I said, well, let's see what this thing can do. What I did was I literally had a conversation. I said, hey, Chatty, that's what I call ChatGPT. Hey, Chatty, my daughter is interested in creating products that are safe for kids. And we're wondering where should we start and what should we do? And Chatty gave us all these ideas. It gave us the ingredient list. It gave us the links directly to Amazon to purchase the ingredients. It it allowed us to make batches, and then we came back and said we don't like that consistency. We didn't like this, and it told us everything to do, the labels, everything. I was like, this is crazy. In 3 weeks, we were ready for that entrepreneurship event. We had a table. It looked as professional as ever. We had labels on our bottles. We had, everything ready for her to actually present and actually get business at that event. And that was the launch of her business. It's still its essence. It's still up. She's in school. We do school. When during the summertime, we go to events and sell her products. So that's my story. What I want to say is one thing at a time. It's a natural conversation. Sometimes we go and we listen to AI events, and one of the things that I'm passionate about is bringing this technology to the lowest denominator, so that we're able to pick it up and add it into our business and our everyday lives. What I don't want is for us to say we've never used it, we're afraid of it. I think that is something that um, would really be a disadvantage for us scaling up. I've heard that term a lot today. We have to upscale, we have to scale up, we have to go with the trends. One other antidote was someone said, hey, this AI thing is a bit too much. It's going to get us into trouble. And so the person said, so how did you do your laundry? And they're like, we use a washing machine. So you're not scrubbing on boards anymore, right? We've moved on. This is kind of the same thing. We will evolve and grow with this technology. So I have been a technologist. I've done Salesforce.com for 20 years, built products on it. And that was my bread and butter for about 20 years. I went to a small startup and I was like, I'm going to get rich. And I was doing everything. I was the PM, I was the business development person, I was running the implementation team, I was doing everything for 5 years. And then one day I got a pink slip. And I was just like, I have a family. I have things to take care of. I will say two things. It was a blessing in disguise because in November, ChatGPT, generative AI, came out and people were starting to talk about it. Had I been working still, I would have missed most of the conversation. By the end of that year, I became a certified consultant and I said, I really want to make sure our community has this tool. Small businesses can scale up. I saw it as clear as day. Students, parents can help their students have tutors. That late night kid that comes and says, oh, I have a test tomorrow, and now they want you to remember algebra from 20 years ago. This is not happening at 11 o'clock at night. But I sure pull out my AI tutor and we work through the projects, the different math problems as much as you can. Um, so there's a lot there, and why I'm really passionate about this subject. So today we're going to really talk about how we can incorporate it, and what I would like to do is um, also share with you and do some demos so that you can see this live and in action. During that time, as I was learning, I was able to write a book. I'm very fascinated because I'm from the Caribbean, and I'm very fascinated about the wealth gap and understanding that history. And so my synopsis is very short because I really wanted to get to the AI. And what I did was interview my cohort of AI consultants to see how they were lawyers, business people using AI to scale up. And so that's what's in the book that I have here with me today. So, 89% of veterans report feeling disadvantaged in tech focused jobs, despite having transferable skills. That's a really great number. As I speak to many of you, and I'm in the sorority, so my line sisters, I have many line sisters who are military veterans. The skill set is unmatched, but and they can transfer to what we need in the civilian world. Um, Veterans with AI skills earn 34% more than those without. The opportunities are there. We just need to make sure we embrace this technology. And also, when I say this, because we all always talk in money and finances, we can be at the table at these companies making the decisions of where and how policy is set for these tools. We need to speak up because the other thing is we need to share and make sure our history is interpreted correctly. So one of the things I say is with great, as we've heard this before, we have a responsibility to the next generation to make sure that as this boom is happening, we're part of the conversation so that our history and things that we do are not left out. So some of the basics. So I usually ask this question, but I'll ask it again. How many of us are using AI on a daily basis? Awesome. Okay. Some of us will start today. We're gonna get that account. I had someone get their account today and made a baby image of a picture. Um, we definitely want to start small. Don't get overwhelmed. There are so many tools out there. Do not get overwhelmed. Start with one thing and practice that one thing for a couple weeks. Move on to the next thing. And if you start using it, you start to go down rabbit holes. It becomes kind of a bit addictive, but be forewarned. Machine learning, it's been around for over 50 years. It's actually been around longer than that. This is not new. What is new is now that we have it in the palm of our hands. That's what's new. Now we are able to actually use it. Everyday people are able to use it the way that it was used by scientists for research. I remember when Watson came out and we were all amazed. But now you and I can use it just as efficiently. It's literally you being able to in your natural voice, ask the machine to do something. That's it. You're asking that machine to do something. You can give it inputs and it will give you an output. One of the things that I will touch on is to be careful what you give it. We're not going to enter, and I know it should go without saying, any PII information or personal identifying information into the tool unless you've secured it. If you have a free version of these tools, I'll show you in my demo places to go and check the security. We want to make sure we're being safe. Many of us work in that industry, but for some reason, what I've noticed is that when we start playing with these tools, we leave ourselves wide open. So we're going to definitely touch on that. There's definitely going to be a terminology here that we're going to have to work with. One of the demos that I'm going to show is using your resume, putting it into ChatGPT, and asking it to take your capabilities and translate it. Most of us don't know the different terminologies and skills, the rankings that you were in the military. They're not the same terminology out in industry. And we know that inherently, but we still, like if you put your resume together, it still reads more military, and that can sometimes not pass through the automatic machines now that read the resume first before you can actually, get in the door. Now, many of us who are seniors, you get in the door most of the time through your network, you're having a conversation, but there is a point when you have to bring that sheet of paper and you want it to make sure it's reading the same way you're coming across. Um, there's a framework. Use AI tools to gather and filter information from multiple sources. So I'm going to talk about ChatGPT. I'm going to talk about Perplexity. That's one to do research. You never take the first thing that comes out. So even if you ask it the question, say, can you do better? You make sure you dig deeper. Many of us are still using it to write emails. There's no problem with that. But today we can use it to literally ideate. It's like our co-worker on a team, right? And that's how I want people to think of it. It's your co-worker, your teammate. So you want to make sure you're doing that. Um, you can orient with AI. You can deploy machine learning to identify patterns and insights. My favorite thing to do is if I have a lot of data in spreadsheets, I like to pull that in and get the insights for me at first glance. Then I use my experience with those insights to come up with a recommendation, right? The other thing is everybody talks about, oh, AI is going to replace us. No, AI has given me lots of things, and I tell it, hey, you forgot security. You forgot this. And it'll make a joke about itself and then it'll correct itself. But we have to be in the loop with all of this technology. You can decide with AI, leverage AI for recommendations. A lot of times we probably know the basic recommendations that's going to come up because we've been doing what we've been doing for a while. We've been around. What you want to do is look for the things that you didn't, it will help you bring up the things you didn't even think of, right? So one of the ways I use it is to ideate, is to act as the most experienced financial advisor and look at this data and give me some insights. And so you want to always give it context, right? You want it to act as a coach, act as a resume writer. You want to give it an example. Maybe what you're looking for is to say, hey, and then I wanted to, here's an example of the output I'm looking for. And please give me my output back in a table format. Tell it how you want that output to come. So you're not asking it and then copy and pasting it into Excel. You're actually telling it to give you an Excel spreadsheet and you can download that and keep going on to the next step. As of last week, agents have come out in ChatGPT. What agents do is they will string all of those things together. So you can say, hey, I need to find a flight to San Francisco. I only really like to fly Delta and United. I have points on those. I want to fly in the morning, and these are my dates. And you give it that instruction, and you go do something else. It will churn, it will look across the internet for you, find the best flights, and give you options. That just saved you time in something that was really annoying when you had to go to all the different websites. And that's an agent. The agent went off without you telling it how and what how to do it, figured it out. If it runs into a website it doesn't know, it will find another website. It does it all of it on its own. So that's the new thing. There's this saying now, the agents are coming. Well, the agents are here. And then you can act with AI, and that's the automation. You can automate AI. So, resumes. A lot of times, I think I mentioned this earlier, we have a lot of different experiences. It is cultivated over 20 years, 15 years, what have you. We need to maybe remind ourselves of all the things we've done, all of the skill sets that we've acquired that we're not even thinking of. So after I was laid off abruptly, I took my resume and I entered it into ChatGPT. The different industries that it came up with, I would have never targeted healthcare. But healthcare is looking for folks with my skill sets that can translate requirements, business requirements, into technology. There was another area, oh, restaurateur. It gave me insights into different things I can do in the restaurant. I was like, wait, I never would have thought of that. So what I basically did was ask it, hey, can you please go and tell me all of my relevant experiences? And then I asked it to go in and take those experiences, and I asked it to then go. I went into Perplexity, and I asked them to, hey, could you tell me what jobs I can apply to? What side hustles I may want to do in the meantime while I look for a job? What businesses can I start? What consulting industries? And it gave me all of that in very short order. So when we're thinking about how to use it and why we can use it, there's just so much that we can do with it in the everyday context. As you can see, none of those things is giving out anything that should be a security challenge, because that's the other thing that comes up. Oh, is it secure? These are things you're just asking, everyday things. You would have put your resume on 20 or 30 different sites to get a new job. So that information is there too. I will say I would take off. I think some resumes, especially in the military, you have a lot more information on the top than usual. I would take some of that information off. If you have not yet secured your tool. For new things that it's able to do, if you have your inbox, um, I don't know about you guys, but I get too many emails. A lot of them are spam. I try to clean them out and do all the rules and all of that stuff, but I don't have time. Now, if you give ChatGPT or any of some of the tools out there, bless you, um, access, it will help to actually look at your calendar, tell you what the most important meetings are, what emails you need to respond back to. My favorite one is then if I'm meeting with two or three or four different clients throughout the week, I will ask it to go out and find information on those clients to prep me for those meetings. So now I'm, prepared. It's not just, oh, I have a meeting with Bob. Let me go out to LinkedIn and check who Bob is or what have you. It's already going to give that to me for the day in a briefing. I don't have to go and do that research myself. Um, so that's one thing. It can also help you start. So yes, it helps you respond to emails, but imagine it going through and finding the 5 emails that you need to respond to and not all of the other junk mail, and then making sure you review those responses and then sending it out for you. So what I do is I put them in draft. It always puts it in draft for me. I go into my draft and then I review them and send them out. Time saving. These tools save time. There was a saying, they said there's a app for that. Today, there's an AI for that. There are hundreds and thousands of apps out there. Whatever industry you're thinking of, dreaming of, it's out there. It doesn't mean you can't go out and build one for yourself, but there are apps out there. One of the things I do for companies is to build them their own private GPT so that they can put all of their information for that company. Maybe they want to respond to an RFP. If all of your information is in one place, when you're responding to those RFPs, it's easier, and you're using a dedicated GPT within your tool set. So that's another area that has been very helpful to many businesses doing RFPs and trying to do business development. So if anyone would play along with me, and please help me with your titles. If you have a title that's military and you know what it would be in a civilian job.
Someone said human resources.
I think that one would still translate to human resources.
Surface warfare officer.
Ooh. Does anybody know what that might be in a
Jack of all trades.
what is the civilian job title? And you say surface.
Surface warfare. No, we have to end up not warfare.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Officer.
They call them SWOT.
Mhm.
There you go. He'll come back to you.
Yeah, we are looking for civilian.
Yeah, the list goes on.
And you are the jack of all trades. 'Cause yep. So you can see if you're not sanitizing your resume and you're going after certain jobs, you definitely have to. And I know some, like I said, some of this is known, but you definitely there's so many different roles here that you can attach to your resume. I believe, and I have, and this is one from a sample resume. And I'll open this while it's loading.
Ma'am, do you mind explaining? I'm just hearing some conversations, and I don't want to answer for them, but I think that you will probably say the same thing. Can you explain why getting the app and making an account, even if you're going to continue to use the free version, is important?
Yes, please. So if you're using the free version, any data that you put in it is helping to train the models of the companies that own those apps, right? Now, let's talk about ChatGPT. If you're using the paid version, the same can still be happening. However, I'm going to pause here and thank you for that pivot. I'm going to find my settings go to security, and there are, of course, multi-factor authentication. So definitely check that out. I'm using one that I use for demos, so I don't have that turned on. But they are different, and they've moved this. Let's see, so person. There are different things that you can turn on and off. So I have custom instructions, save memories. If you wanted to actually remember what you've been doing, you can leave this on. You can manage the memories. You can reference recorded history. And I apologize, they do this every time. I think it's because they don't want you to turn it off.
So you have to opt out.
You can opt out of these of them using your data.
It's in data control.
Thank you. So improve the model for everyone. You can opt out of this.
So one of the things that I've been doing and helpful for the group is if you're working on enduring projects and you want to keep talking and iterating about something, everyone in our office is using it and we have kept it on. And then as we start to use it for, I mean, the DoD has its own GPT now too, which is better for more secure projects. But if you're using the free version, we had some folks in our office who were using the free version and then they would get frustrated when they would try to use it again for something else. And it's not saving it.
It's not saving.
It's not remembering what you just told it yesterday. And so you feel like it's not working for you.
Yes,
This
because
product isn't what I asked for.
yeah, if
So
it
don't waste time fighting with it.
yeah, and if it's free, it's you and everybody else, right? So you wanted to definitely have your own account and store your own information and have those conversations saved. The other good thing is if you're starting a new business, um, one of the times that I leave improve the model on for everyone, this is a little tip, is I leave it on if I'm talking about myself. When I was writing a book, I want everybody to know about my company. I want to put it out there so that when people search, my information will come up, and then I turn it back off. So if you're, wanting to make sure the algorithms pick up whatever it is you're doing, and these are for those who may have a small business or you just want to be out there and make sure people know your name associated with a certain industry, you can leave it on, and then you can turn it off. So that's one of the things. While we're here, the other thing that she kind of touched on is the generic information that comes out. And this is the part that I know we don't all do. Um, One of the things I did not mean to exit out of that, is I customize my GPT. So when I start conversations, it will tell me, "Hi, Tonya." But more importantly, what I did was I took my resume, a couple of my writing samples, presentations that I did, and I fed it into ChatGPT and say, if I want to tell my ghostwriter how to write in my style and tone, how would analyze my information and tell me what my style and tone is? And so it analyzed those documents, gave me my style and tone. Even if you're one of those speakers that has a like a tell, like maybe you say, "Hey, hey, hey, everybody," every time you start, it will pick that up in your writings and things. And then what I did was I gave it these custom instructions in here. I put that in. So it says I use humor. You Today I'm having like tongue tie issues. Humor. I speak with professionalism, and it gave me all of this, and I put this in here along with my bio. What does that do? When I am writing something, if I ask it to write an email, it's now writing in my style and tone. I'm not going to get generic information back. Sometimes it reminds me of things I've done. So it goes, "I saw on LinkedIn you recently spoke at so and so. You might want to put that into this proposal that you're writing." And so now you're not getting generic information. It's about you, it's about your business, it's about whatever you're passionate about. So that is something that I really, like to make sure I walk through with any clients that I work with when I'm coaching them. It's to say, let's set this up so this is you, especially if you have a small business. You want it to represent you. If you're doing marketing, everybody's using AI to do marketing, and everybody's reels are starting to sound alike because it's not It's generic. If you're using a tool like this, you can get the copy from here and then use Canva to go make it pretty and put it in a reel and what have you. But make sure you're always speaking in your brand, your tone, and that you're not, getting that generic information. Now, this can be done with other tools like Copilot, Claude. You just have to find where they have it. You have to just navigate to their settings, and they have that. So, because many people are like, I don't use ChatGPT, I use Claude, I use Gemini. They have it. They all have something like this that you can actually make sure your tone and voice is being used. All right, let's look at this sample resume for a second, and somebody will keep me honest on time. Ish.
Boss said,
Okay. Let me just do this as quickly as possible. And we always want to say and act as a career coach of 20 years. Any other questions? Yes.
Talk a little bit about um, prompt, writing prompts.
Yes. So I like to say we need about 2 to 3 pieces of information when you're writing a prompt. I did not do a complete prompt here, but one of the first things is to tell it who's going to be acting as. You definitely want it to be. I think so. You definitely wanted to know or have an idea. Act as a coach. Act as a marketing thing. Just give it something to feed off of. The next thing is give it context. I'm building a business plan. Act as an advisor. I'm building a business plan. Help me to understand the pieces that I need to put in. And then tell it how you want it to come back. Do you want it in a downloadable PDF? Do you want it to then ask you questions about what might be missing? So, and I say, speak in an everyday language. It's much easier. And it's gotten much better in understanding what you're looking for. And then definitely ask it again. Is this the best? Is there anything you can do better? Because you have to keep digging deeper. I would never take the first thing that comes out. So that's kind of for the everyday layman's person, my advice. The other thing is I use the microphone. I will just talk like I'm talking to my girlfriend or anything just to get it out. So sometimes we just need to get it out. Once we get it out, it will start to ask you questions, or you'll start to see things and go, well, could we, bullet point number 2, could we, explain that? How would I do that? And then you can just keep having a conversation. So those are the 2 things that I say in general about prompting. There's a whole ideology about it, but the basics is to make sure it knows who it should be acting as and give it context. And how do you want the information to come back out to you? Okay.
Yes, I have a question. So for me, I have 2 different skill sets: the community that I'm in, and also my job as a doctor. So the job as a doctor is translatable, but what I do in the Navy right now is kind of not translatable to the civilian sector, just because it's even hard to explain what I do in the Navy to people in the Navy. So, would you say in that instance, would it be better to just kind of like extract skills from that job
Yes.
as opposed to trying to have it translate? Oh, sorry. As opposed to trying to have it translate over to an actual job title?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I would say pull out the skills from that job and then say, well, how does this translate to, industry?
Okay.
Where would I use these skills in industry?
Okay.
And I would say definitely go through, have your, and speak through what you do, because you might leave out things that helps it with the context, but just talk through like you would, if you were trying to explain it, and then have it say, what do you think about this?
Yeah, because once I get, like, whenever I decide to leave the Navy, the undersea part of it, actually, once I go to residency, the undersea part of it will pretty much be done. I won't be going back to the submarine community because
Right.
of the job. But I
Okay.
would like to extract some of that information
I'm sure
and
this-
say, well, even though I was in this community, these are what I did as
That's
a leader.
leader.
You know what I mean? Those are my
Exactly.
principles,
You want to pull out the leadership thing. So just really quick, let me go back to the top here. So it went through our resume. It was a resume of about 20 years in the military. And it pulled out, John spent the last 2 decades commanding units from 150 to 650 personnel, mentoring junior officers, designing workshops, boosting retention by 30%. That tells me he builds high performing teams. We love to hear that in industry. Understands individual motivators and thrives under pressure. And so it goes on. It says strategic planning and execution. And so it pulls out even more things here: process improvement and cost savings, crisis and risk analysis, technical and analytical tools. So it actually went through and it broke it down into sections for you. Now you can take this and say, hey, can you create for me a resume? Or, hey, can you point me in the direction of which industries will best utilize these skills? Does that make sense? That kind of went by fast, but okay. I like to leave people with a really cool tool, and this is my favorite one. So, who here maybe have a presentation coming up soon or would like for me? I see a hand in the back. I can do more than one. That's how fast it'll happen.
Okay.
What is a topic that you would like me to create a presentation on?
Oh, I got one.
Oh, just a moment. What is going on,
I gotta
Gamma?
figure out where it is. So,
No, this is a different tool, a totally different tool.
okay.
Um,
So,
what was your topic? Oh, she's bringing the mic.
Okay. I got one.
So, I'm sorry, she had her hand up there. Yeah. No? Okay.
I got one.
What's that?
So I'm working on a speech, and the theme of it is choosing the difficult right over the easy wrong. There is some more context, but I'll just work on that.
Over.
No, it's right, RIGHT.
Yeah.
Over the easy wrong.
What this tool does, it will create for you an outline, and you get to approve that outline. And I know. Is the screen blurry?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so your outline says the future of artificial intelligence transforming our world. What is artificial intelligence? AI in healthcare. Choosing the difficult right over the easy wrong. This says a lot of AI.
Yes.
This is an hallucination. Definitely a hallucination.
How do you take that first
You
answer?
use it to do the AI presentations.
I did.
You have to give it
Yeah.
like
Ethical.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Who's
a.
wrong? So-
I know, right?
Yeah.
Actually, haven't seen it do that. Dilemma.
Yeah. You know,
Dilemma.
philosophy for success.
Let's see.
Coming up with philosophy for success.
Huh?
Yeah,
Let's see.
said, who am I giving it to?
There we go.
Veterans.
Yes. Okay. We got better now.
Veterans.
Yes. So you have ethical dilemma, choosing the difficult right over the easy wrong. What is an ethical dilemma? the difficult right versus easy wrong, a framework for decision making, right versus right ethical dilemmas, and it's quoting from the Bardacoda's framework.
Now, is this Gemini or what is this?
This is an app called Gamma.app. And you can go through and play with this, but I think it finally got into the line that we wanted to. So I'm going to hit generate really quick. Just, not today.
Free answer.
So it will usually generate, and generate, because I'm using my demo app, it will generate an entire presentation
That's what
for you with the pictures and everything.
wow.
Hold on. Why is it not showing me mine? Oh. So I'm going to open one of these. So the presentation you're watching today was brought to you by Gamma.ai. I gave it an outline that I worked up in ChatGPT, and then I brought it over here. And it, except for this picture, every other thing on these slides was written for me based on the outline I gave it. It took about 30 seconds. Now, you can then, if you hit the share button, you can share it and download it as a PowerPoint and then put it into your standard template. But that's, I always like to end and leave on a note where I gave something that you probably haven't heard of.
Give you the script to go along with it?
Yeah.
Well, it created the outline. Yes,
Yes.
yes. And then I usually have ChatGPT create my script for me, my talking points. I didn't for this one because I like this topic. Oh, sure. It's
30.
my book is available on Amazon. There's hard copy and soft copy. I have a few soft copy available today.
For $12.
That piece of 500, okay? Not even call 500.
Did not know